Thanks for being here today, and I'm really looking forward to this, so here goes. What an absolutely wonderful way for me to start my time here with you today. And while that beautiful footage could reflect a lot of fascinating people you might meet, that in fact featured my favorite kind of human beings. Some of the most interesting, passionate, colorful people on the face of the planet, entrepreneurs. And for over 12 years, I've had the privilege of working side by side with these amazing entrepreneurs and my work as the founding CEO of Pipeline. But not just any entrepreneurs handpicked for their potential to be significant, high-impact performers. But why have we worked so hard at this for the past 12 years? And why have so many cities, regions, countries even, done the same as they clamor for more entrepreneurs just like these in their communities? Well, I'll show you why. I'll show you the money. In Pipeline, we work with about 130 entrepreneurs who've been through our fellowship right here in the Midwest. This relatively small group has produced tremendous or outsized results. Let's take a look. Okay, pretty incredible, right? I mean, no wonder we are all working so hard to identify more entrepreneurs like these. And as we work to do, though, many ask, well, what do you look for? How will you know who to invest in with your time, talents, and resources? Well, after reading thousands of applications of entrepreneurs who want to become Pipeline Fellows, and after working with about 130 more who actually went through our fellowship, I can tell you a lot about the patterns that we look for that help us identify entrepreneurs with the right stuff. Sure, we look for a lot of the things I think a lot of entrepreneur organizations look for. Is the entrepreneur mentorable? Do they have industry expertise? Are they passionate? Do they have their own money, their own skin in the game, and maybe even learn from prior failure? And while all of these might be strong indicators for success, I encourage you to dig a little deeper because I think you are looking for more. You're looking for leaders, local role models, entrepreneurs who show up when you most need them. Entrepreneurs who start multiple companies, maybe even start a local venture fund. Entrepreneurs who don't move to California or Boston just when things are getting interesting with their company. Entrepreneurs who advocate for others to come and say, hey, what's helping here, or what more is going on in our community? Entrepreneurs you can count on. Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking for the super entrepreneur. And good news, I can help you spot them. You never know how you'll respond in a crisis like a tornado or other kind of emergency, right? I mean, will you pump out so much adrenaline that you become immobilized, can't think clearly on solutions? Or will you remain calm and find your way out of the storm, maybe even help others find their way out of the storm? Well, the super entrepreneur is exactly the type of person you hope you'll be, or at least be right next to, in a storm. Under pressures and crises that would cripple most people, they remain steadfast. I'm talking about things like having millions of their hard-earned dollars and other people's dollars, like their family members' dollars, on the line, and it's sink or swim time this week. And they somehow stay calm, make it home for dinner, and never let on that it's that close to disaster. Or they're heading into the office thinking, I am not sure we're making payroll this week. And they're greeted by other employees that want to talk about their office furniture needs. And they're thinking, oh my gosh, guys, you don't even know we might not even be here next week. But they remain calm and patiently listen. The super entrepreneur pushes forward with faith and confidence that things are going to work out the way they want them to, or if it doesn't, another path will present itself, a different path. Hey, maybe even a better path. And while they might have moments of panic, I mean, come on, who wouldn't? They pass. The entrepreneur does not exude alarm. You can spot this trait in an entrepreneur by observing them very closely. Because of this skill, they may not let on that they're in the midst of a business crisis. So look for other types of storms. See how they respond. Super entrepreneurs don't get dragged into dramas. They are loath to get involved in controversial issues, whether it's in the media, organizations they're involved with, or with family and friends. They know their own business has enough drama and disharmony. And because of this judge-like approach to controversial issues, they make excellent board members, community leaders, if they can find the time, and friends. Super entrepreneurs are always soaking up information around them, right? Whether it's relevant to their company or not. And this love of learning they have makes them more than just mentorable, because they actually go out and seek contrary opinions. You'll often see them at an event over in a corner talking to someone who said something challenging to them. And the very person they're talking to is like, hold on, you know way more about this than I do. But the super entrepreneur knows there's all sorts of hidden gems and different perspectives in conversations like this. And in order to be this type of learner, those are vulnerability they exhibit. They're willing to say, hey, I don't know it all, teach me. Maybe I even have this wrong. And they're not confused by all this barrage of information coming at them, sometimes conflicting advice and information. They have this uncanny ability to sift, sort, and adopt what makes the most sense for them in their company. And this ability is a superpower for sure, because it enables that entrepreneur to look over the horizon and make adjustments or pivots that help them thrive in a fast-paced marketplace. You can spot this love of learning even outside of their company. Super entrepreneurs often take on complex hobbies like learning to fly a plane, scuba dive, and more. They're also genuinely interested in what you're learning and will ask penetrating questions to learn more. Frequently, they're ravenous readers or book-on-tapers. And when they find a book they love, they'll buy it and share it with others, because super entrepreneurs love to share what works for them. Okay. When you work with entrepreneurs, they always need something, right? I mean, that's just the nature of the entrepreneurial beast. Whether it's fundraising, intro to a new customer, finding a new board member, more. Actually, the list is never ending. The phone will always be ringing. But the super entrepreneur naturally balances the ask or the take with the give. They do this not because it's strategic to do that, but because it's in their nature. Super entrepreneurs love to give. And as a result, they usually get a ton in return. Super entrepreneurs do not measure the value of their relationships in a mere transaction or two. I mean, yes, transactions will always matter to entrepreneurs, but the super entrepreneur has their whole career, their whole life in clear view. They want to be good bosses, good members of organizations, good friends. They want to help causes greater than their own while building their companies. You can spot this trait in an entrepreneur by looking for entrepreneurs who are extremely dedicated family members and friends. They usually only have a few organizations or events that they get involved with because they feel extremely guilty if they can't give their commitments the time and attention they feel they deserve. Pipeline is so proud to have a group of super entrepreneurs who spend this very limited time with us. They do this because they believe that this is where they can both give and get with people who get them. Okay, so those are the big three. And if you're fortunate, your wheels are turning. You may already have a few people in mind that show signs of being a super entrepreneur. But I bet you want to do more than just identify them, right? I mean, you want to nurture them, make sure they continue to thrive in your community. Well, that is the extra special secret I'm going to share with you today. The care and feeding of your super entrepreneurs. It is no small feat to be a super entrepreneur. Yes, they may be steady, lifelong learners, and really value long-term relationships, but they also work incredibly hard to provide those wowing numbers that you saw earlier in this presentation. That's a tall order. They need the right environment to keep leaping tall buildings. So what do they need? They need each other. I am astounded when we put on our modules in Pipeline that bring together our entrepreneurs, mentors, and more. What astounds me is the reality of which entrepreneurs choose to show up. The very entrepreneurs with the fastest growing companies, the most demands, the easiest reasons to call me and say, hey, I can't make it, are the very entrepreneurs who rarely miss our time together. They protect their global travel schedules. They sometimes miss their own birthday celebrations. They show up. They do this because being a super entrepreneur is not only hard work, it's lonely work, and they need each other. Together, they're able to keep their steady by privately sharing their fears and get help. They're able to get their lifelong learning needs met by sharing different perspectives and learning from each other and staying open. And they see these relationships they have with each other as positive, long-term resources for their lives. And they get that first and foremost, to be a super entrepreneur, they most need to focus on being a super person. And the best way to do that is to surround themselves with other super persons. And guess what? When they get together, they have a lot of fun. I mean, sometimes they actually do really silly things. But they do this because they need to let their guard down and let loose. They remember that they're doing more than just building their company. They are living a life, and a big life, that provides for so many and inspires so many more. No wonder we are all working so hard to identify entrepreneurs. They are the inspiring game changers that are producing outsized results for their communities' economies. But they're doing even more. They're building super communities all around them. I encourage you to go out and hunt for your super entrepreneurs today. And while you're at it, do me a favor. Take a look in the mirror. The super entrepreneur we most need might just be staring right back at you. Thank you.